Hi everyone, it is currently the 11th of November 2014. Thank you everyone very much for this past weekend, the Western Pacific Weather Meet and Greet. I know a lot of you did attend that typically watch these videos on a daily basis. Definitely a spectacular event, and I'm going to be putting out a full video update on this and a full recap later on this week. But for now, getting back into the weather, because we have a lot of stuff to really catch up on, and we do want to talk about a few areas even in the tropics that did kind of spin up here over the weekend when we were on a little bit of a hiatus here with the Western Pacific weather update. First and foremost, this is an Invest 99W. It is a low pressure area being, upgraded to that by the Japan Meteorological Agency just towards the north of Palau. You can see it here on satellite imagery. A lot of convection flaring up towards the north and towards the south, but really, the big thing is, though, you see here on the satellite, we have all that cool air spilling in from the north. This is the leading edge of a cold surge, and that's really going to kick up later on this week on Wednesday and Thursday. Definitely be a big impactor out here. That's the other main thing I also want to talk about in this update is that cold surge. But first, do want to mention the low pressure area. I know some of you are worried about it. If you are here in the Philippines, it is going to bring some rain showers a little bit later on into the end of the week by this weekend. Now, the big thing though, and the reason why I want to mention the cold surge, it's not going to be so much the low itself. As we look a little bit later on into this week, by Tuesday and the Wednesday, we have our low here, but you can see these lines kind of working their way in from the north. That's that high pressure ridging in from China, which sets up typically these cold surges, these leading edge extent of the northeast monsoon. And that pressure gradient really is going to tighten right in this area, and that's going to kick up some gale force winds across much of northeastern Luzon and also interact with our low. So on the southern extent of this, there really is going to be nothing. But the northern extent, yes, it is going to pump some moisture on shore and some gusty winds. Even some of those rain showers could work their way farther inland towards the Manila area by Friday and a Saturday after it drifts off here towards the north. But the big thing is really not the low pressure center. I mean, if you're just towards the south of that and in northern Mindanao, it'll probably be much of nothing. But farther off towards the north and extending well towards the north, there's going to be some gusty winds here. Zooming in on this with the ECMWF model, you can see as we scroll ahead through here, this low never really gets all that organized, but it still pushes some rain showers on shore. You can see here by Friday into Saturday. And I think this could even cause some localized flooding into eastern and southeastern portions of Luzon, mainly because you have that low and that rain shower is just going to continue to push on shore. And it's going to extend over the course of about 24 to 48 hours. So there is that threat of some flooding. Now, as I mentioned, though, don't expect a full-on named storm system or anything like that. It's just the northeast monsoon really starting to kick up. Now, who else is going to be impacted by this? Because it's not just the Philippines at the leading edge of this, but back towards the north, across much of Korea, down through the southern Japanese islands, and across much of mainland Japan are really going to be impacted by this. This is actually looking at Wednesday, and the wind's already kicking up at this point here. Actually, let's go ahead and take off the precipitation here, and we can see is winds upwards about 50 to 60 kilometers per hour out over the open ocean. Scroll it ahead, those winds start to push closer to the shore, and I think we're going to be seeing some pretty gusty winds upwards about tropical storm strength along the Sea of Japan coastline on Thursday and the Friday. I would not be surprised if we have high wave warnings out here, gale warnings, and definitely this is going to be a rough storm. It's a low pressure area off towards the north, but behind it you have that high that's ridging in out of China, and once again it's the classic case of a cold surge kicking up that very high gradient induced winds. But that's the other thing. Let's go back to the precipitation and just start here on Wednesday and watch this come across. We have the snowfall in North Korea, eastern portions of Russia, but then that sea effect snow machine starts to churn on. And watch this. Look at these areas in white. It just stays there and it's going to persist. Not for 1 or 2 days, but it just goes all the way through Thursday and well into Friday. And we look ahead here into Saturday, still seeing the snowfall. So I think we're going to be seeing a pretty big snow event here. After this is said and done, areas in Nagano, Niigata, just towards on the west and north of Tokyo, ski slopes will probably be open, at least 1 or 2 slopes. So if you're a skier, you're going to be happy about this. Farther down towards the south, things are going to be getting a little bit cooler and windier for those of you into the Naha area and much of the southern Japanese islands. As a result of this cold surge, temperatures are going to be coming down. This is showing Yokohama here on Wednesday, high of 21. Things are not that cool, or not that cool, at least at this time. But by Thursday and the Friday, it just drops off here. Lows getting down into the single digits Thursday and Friday's highs upwards about 15 to 16 degrees. It will be sunny because you're on the downslope side of the mountains here. But let's zoom in, take a look at some of these areas into the mountains. That's going to be some rain there farther towards the north. Do expect some snowfall, at least in some of these areas, getting down to about 3 there, but that's in some of the lower elevations. Let's scroll down towards the south because I mentioned those of you down towards Naha. Look at this, 23 dropping down to about 21, but the big thing is the overnight lows getting into the single digits, or excuse me, the teens, but it could drop as low as about 15 to 16 degrees. Here it's showing about 18. And then we scroll all the way down there in northern portions of the Philippines. You get that monsoon starting to kick in. Temperatures cool off slightly, but it's just a persistent rain showers along the eastern seaboard. So that's really the big thing we're going to be talking about over the next several days. Another cold surge, that tropical low, but really, for those of you out here, not much significant going on as far as any large storm systems forming up here in the near future. I know that's a big 180 from when we had last year. At this time, we were still talking about Typhoon Haiyan as it was starting to approach Vietnam and southern China. All right, guys, that is all. Thanks again for watching. Bye.